どうも皆さんお疲れ様です。ひろき先生です。Welcome back to my channel. Well, I'm so excited about this time because today we're going to start learning lesson 14 of Genki2. The very first lesson is about がほしい, meaning I want something in English. The first textbook is page 32, and the second is 54, and the third is page 50, which is section 1, respectively.So, let's get started. In the first place, 欲しい is a grammar that expresses the desire to get certain thing. For example, I want money, I want a PC, I want a boyfriend or girlfriend. It is important to note that 欲しい can only be used with nouns. In other words, it cannot be used with a verb. I want to do something.For example, when you say I want to drink a beer, you need to use a form たい instead 欲しい. Many of you may have already learned about たい in lesson 11 of Genki1, but let's review it briefly. You can make a sentence by adding たい after a verb, but it needs to be conjugated. For る verbs, remove the る and add たい. For う verbs, change the final う sound to い sound and then add たい. And for regular verbs, become したい for する and 来たい for 来る. In this lesson, I'm gonna introduce 欲しい, which express desire for a thing instead of desire for an action. In English, が欲しい correspond to the verb want, so it may be mistaken for a verb, but please note that it is an E-type adjective. The connection with other words is simple. It looks like this. Noun plus 欲しい. Okay, let's translate the previous sentence into Japanese. お金が欲しい。パソコンが欲しい。彼氏彼女が欲しい。I want money, I want a PC, I want a boyfriend or girlfriend. That's easy so far. Now let's check the negative in the past tenses. Present tense 欲しい I want. Negative tense 欲しくない I don't want. Past tense 欲しかった I wanted. Past negative 欲しくなかった I didn't want. And noun conjugations 欲しい本 For example, the book I want. This is how it works. In question sentences, you can ask about the listener's desire. 何か飲み物が欲しいですか? Would you like something to drink? 新しい車が欲しいですか? Would you like a new car? Please be careful with these, because even my students often make these mistakes. If you use this with a person of higher rank, like your boss, or someone you are not close to, it will sound bossy and impolite. For example, you should ask, 社長、飲み物はいかがですか? Instead of, 社長、飲み物が欲しいですか? And in negative sentences, the particle は is used instead of が. For example, like, 新しい車は欲しくない but not 新しい車が欲しくない I don't want a new car.In addition, in comparative sentence, the particle は is used as well. For example, 車は欲しいけど中古車は欲しくない I want a new car, but I don't want a used car. So far, we have seen how to say this when you are the subject. But what about when a third person is a subject? Hiroki sensei wants a new PC.This would be translated normally as ひろき先生は新しい PC が欲しい but it sounds a little unnatural when said spoken out loud. In Japanese, however, another word is added after 欲しい that is がる With this word, the sentence becomes ひろき先生は新しい PC を欲しがっている In English,Both of these phrases would be Hiroki sensei wants a new PC. It's the same, but When you say them out loud in Japanese, it sounds more natural if you add the word garu or the word rashi to describe the situation. There are a lot of things to remember in there, but don't worry. We get used to it. We go through the example sentence together. The JLPT is equivalent to N5. Okay, here's some example sentences. Example 1. もっとお金が欲しい. I want more money. Since this is an affirmative sentence, in the present tense が欲しい, want is added after the noun money, お金. Example 2. 彼女、彼氏が欲しい. I want a girlfriend or boyfriend. This sentence is also an affirmative sentence in the present tense. So the noun 彼女、彼氏, girlfriend, boyfriend is followed by が欲しい. Example 3. iMac が欲しかった. I wanted an iMac. This sentence is an affirmative sentence in the past tense. Since it is an affirmative sentence, the particle is still が, but it is conjugated to become 欲しかった. I wanted. Okay, let's check out some more example sentences. Example 4. 偽りの関係は欲しくない. I don't want a fake relationship. Well, okay. This is a heavy example sentence, but don't worry about it. It's okay now. Okay. This sentence is in the present tense, but it's a negative sentence. In a negative sentence, the particle is changed to は. Example 5. 真実の愛が欲しかった. I wanted a true love. This is another heavy one. And it is an affirmative sentence in the past tense. In an affirmative sentences, the particle が is used. The conjugation is past tense, so 欲しかった. I wanted. Example 6. 誕生日に何が欲しい? What do you want for your birthday? Now, this is no more example sentence. This is a question sentence as well. If you want to say in a polite form, add か after this to ask. In casual form, you just say 欲しい? You want it? You don't need to add か sound to the end of the sentence. Example 7. アロハシャツは欲しくなかった. I didn't want an aloha shirt. Personally, I like aloha shirt. I remember a friend of mine got one and said he didn't want it. Now this sentence is a negative sentence in the past tense. The particle is は changed to conjugation to 欲しくなかった, didn't want in the past tense. Example 8. 服は欲しいけどアロハシャツは欲しくなかった. I wanted the clothes, but I didn't want the aloha shirt. As I have said many times, this is just example sentences. Personally, I like the aloha shirt. Anyway, when making a contrast it's like this, change the particle to は. Now the が cannot be used. Example 9. 彼女は新しい彼氏が欲しいらしい. Or 彼女は新しい彼女を欲しがっている. She wants a new boyfriend. When adding らしい, the particle in front of らしい becomes が. In the case of がる, the particle becomes お. It may sound a little complicated, but it is better to think of it as a grammatical rule and remember it. Now, let's look at some paraphrases of the words introduced in today's example sentences. Since verb didn't make many appearances this time, I'm going to introduce nouns and adjectives. お金、金、金銭、貨幣、通貨. In everyday life, お金 is most commonly used. It is often used in a form 金 with an O sound. 金銭 is often used in the laws and informal writing. 貨幣 refers to anything that has a value in exchange for something and also means metal currency as opposed to paper money. 通貨 is anything that functions as a means of circulation in the payment in a given society. In a broad sense, it is the same as 貨幣. 偽り 嘘. Uso means to tell something that one knows is not true in order to trick. It is most commonly used. And 偽り is an intentional modification of a fact, most commonly used in a written word. 真実, 本物 and 本当, something that is not fake or made up. Okay, so how did you all feel about these expressions, which have many conjugation and minor rules? But the key point is that the particle ga is used in affirmative sentences and wa is used in negative sentences. Also, if you understand the differences between present tense and the past tense, 欲しい and 欲しかった, you should have no trouble. Now, it's time for the question. Please write your original sentences using the grammatical expressions introduced today in the comments section. If there are any grammatical mistakes, I'm gonna correct them myself. I'm looking forward to your answers. In the next lesson, we're gonna learn about section 2 of lesson 14, かもしれません. In English, it is maybe. It is an important expression in the conversation. So be sure to check out the next video and be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't forget to watch it. Well, that's it for today's lesson. Thanks again for joining me for today's lesson, and I'm looking for your thoughts and the comments. So let me know in the comment section. See you in the next lesson, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
動画を見てくれてありがとう。この動画がいいねと思ったら高評価とチャンネル登録お願いします。あとインスタグラムのフォローもよろしくお願いします。それじゃあまた。